Hey what's up guys, it's your boy Dadscap, welcome to the Market Pulse weekly recap to the CS2 economy. Player count still remained around the 1.4 million players range this week, and the market cap continued its ascension, this time climbing 3.91% and gaining yet again another $200 million in value. However, a large part of this is due to FOMO and because of an announcement related to the armory, but we'll get into it later. Indexes this week were quite interesting. Liquids are up 4.26%, low tiers are up only 0.12%, mids were down, what? 0.43%, and high tiers didn't actually do too bad relatively speaking by being up 0.46%. Since the 301 index is in large part composed of play skins, while the other three have a large proportion of knives and gloves, you can already guess which types of items actually carried the market cap's growth. Knives and gloves are going through yet another divorce, but this time it's gloves that are being unfaithful, the index gaining 6.09% value, while the knives index slightly dipped by almost a percent. Another rough week for extra cosmetics, agents finally having reached a peak and slightly declining by 0.12%, though it could just be a temporary slowdown, and charms, well, they're kind of a joke. And finally for the cases index, once again, general uptrend across all case categories, averaging around 3%, with pre-2016 cases getting the most with just over 4% of growth. The market pulse this week is... yeah, stroke-like, that's the only way I can describe it. The market still feels juiced to the tits, almost to the point of overdose it seems like. As I mentioned earlier, much of this week's surge comes off Valve's announcement that the gallery case, graphic design and character craft stickers collection will be removed from the armory, though no date were given. This confirms what many suspected, cases and collections in the armory won't last forever. The fallout of the announcement was a massive spike in skin and sticker prices across nearly every corner of the market. Stack on top of that, a coordinated pumps by Chinese traders on both Steam's and Charles marketplaces, and you can already imagine the compounding chaos it triggered. Let me just warn you that what you're about to see in the winners and losers segment may drive you clinically insane, but before that, welcome to Case Crackdowns, where we break down the happenings in the case market over the past week, and this week, 7.7 million cases were opened, a very minor increase of 100k compared to last week, of which the active cases share decreased from 52 to 51%, purchasable case remained stable at 34%, and rare and discontinued cases very slightly increased from 14 to 15%. The number one purchasable case was the Fever case with 2.1 million opened, another increase compared to last week. The top active case was the Dreams and Nightmares case, keeping the crown once again this week with 948,000 cases opened, even though the rate at which players opened it went down 0.08% compared to its weekly average. The number one rare case was the Snakebite case, kicking the clutch case out of here with a big increase in its weekly average of almost 30% in fact. A number low-key unbelievable, but hey, let's keep it moving. The most liquid case was the Kilowatt case, this dog shit case. The number of listings on the market barely moved at all, it's pathetic, although its number of unboxings increased by almost 7% compared to the same day last week. So good job on that, I guess. The case with the most potential was, oh my, the Gallery case with an almost unbelievable pump of over 100% within the span of 4 days, but considering it will be discontinued in the near future, it's not actually that unbelievable. If you're willing to hold it, sub $2 actually seems like a good price for it. If you've still got stars to spend in the armory, that's an even better buy. Just keep in mind that the price is likely to go down, maybe even crash, when it's officially discontinued, so don't go crazy buying high and selling low when this happens, dumbass. Speaking of buy high, sell low, now may be the time to consider buying a few glove case while it's the biggest crash out of the week. I can't imagine any reason for why a 10% decrease in 1 week is warranted. It's not short-term price correction or anything, it just went out of nowhere. My theory is that people are selling it at a profit to buy the gallery cases and make a quick profit while they still can. The Dadscap's pick of the week segment is gone, but if it was still there, the glove case will definitely be my buy of the week. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that goofier bell to never miss another market recap in the future. Welcome to Winners and Losers, starting off with the winning cases where we see the Gallery and Fever cases, both cases from the armory up 108% and 21% respectively, especially the Gallery case since it's the one that Valve specifically mentioned in the release note. Sitting in the middle, we find the Shadow case getting just over 26%. The specific reason for it pumping remains unknown, but signs seem to point to certain skins found inside the case getting pumped like crazy by Chinese streamers. Moving on to losing side, the Broken Fang case slid just over 8% after a price correction. The Anubis collection package dropped by just over 9%, probably because people who were secretly stocking up on it, hoping it would eventually be discontinued, lost all hope. And the glove case, as we saw, losing 11% of its value, likely due to a mass sell-off to cash and profit to invest in the Gallery case while it's pumping. For winning play skins, surprisingly mostly chill. I will not explain the unexplainable. Okay, maybe just a bit. But it does seem like the massive driver behind this price growth are Chinese streamers coordinating pump and dump schemes on the Steam market and Chinese marketplaces specifically. Check your inventories if you've got a skin Chinese traders are currently pumping, and if so, then what the hell are you waiting for and sell it already, you degenerate fuck. As for the losers, well, that's crazy. Once again, basically no losers this week. The pump is love, the pump is life. Excluding obviously the UP green energy field tester, which is suspected to be COVID's patient zero, so be careful if you're already holding one in your inventory. In winning knives, we find big gains coming from marble fade knives from the Fever case, specifically the survival and paracord knives getting 11% and 8% respectively. In third position, the flip knife Doppler from the Chroma 1, 2 and 3 cases closed the week with a gain of exactly 8%. Losers were once again non-existent this week, like literally not a single knife lost value, at least according to Buff163. For some reason, the Huntsman Doppler was the worst performing knife of the week despite posting a gain of 1.5%, and I don't think there's a reason behind it except pure randomness. Ending on a high note, gloves continue to absolutely explode this week, good baby Jesus. All minimal wear, with specialist gloves field agent getting the most, almost 70% in a single week. Model gloves Eclipse were not far behind at 63%, and driver gloves Racing Green were pretty far behind at quote-unquote only 30%. Losers, on the other hand, seem to somewhat follow the pattern we've been observing over the last few weeks, that being factory new gloves consistently losing between 2 and 4% of their value. You'll notice the Sport Gloves Big Game Field Test set sitting at the top of the losers with a loss of almost 5%, and I think it just got lost. Welcome to ROI Radar, where we're looking for a money printer hidden in the armory or the in-game store. Starting off with the Austin 2025 Challengers capsule with an odds profit of 8%, unboxing ROI of 99%, and an expected value of $0, so a break even. The best of them is the Falcons Holo at $22.43. Next up is the Austin 2025 Contenders capsule with an odds profit of 6%, an unboxing ROI of 102%, and an expected value of 26 cents, so 1 cent gain. The best of them is the Tailu Gold at $39.83. And finally, the best capsule in the in-game store is the Enfu Sticker capsule with an odds profit of 27%, unboxing ROI of 107%, and an expected value of $1.06, so a 7 cents gain! The best of them was the Chabo at $4.51. Moving on to the armory, the third best collection were the Missing Link charms with an odds profit of 17%, unboxing ROI of 118%, and an expected value of $1.42, so a 22 cents gain! The best of them was the Hot Howl at $66.54. Next up was the Graphic Design collection with an odds profit of 16%, unboxing ROI of 154%, and an expected value of $2.46, so 86 cents gain! The best item was the UP CMYK at $524. And finally, the best collection in the armory was the Character Craft Stickers collection with an odds profit of 44%, unboxing ROI of 263%, and an expected value of $1.05, so 65 cents gain! Wow! The best item was the Googly Eye at $37.60. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.